Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello to you and welcome back to the channel where you join me in front of a very special car. We're on the Hennessey stand at the Geneva Motorshow and we're going to take a good look at the Venom F5, the beast that lies under that cover, and we'll be shown around it in person by John Hennessey himself. So I'm looking forward to seeing this in a lot of detail. Let's get the covers off and check it out. It's time then to see the car, so let us have the cover off the Venom F5. Look at that. Next level spaceship. This is incredible. Let's just walk around, have a quick overview of the car. My goodness. Look at the design, the triple exhaust in the center at the rear, the way the wings shaped over the sculptures of the arches. Bright striking yellow on this as well. This is incredible. Tucks down towards the front end there, the splitter down at the bottom, intakes for cooling you can see. Right, we need to learn a little bit more about this car, and to do so, let's find the man himself. So here we are. John, how are you?
Yeah, doing good, Tim. It's awesome to be here with you.
I can imagine. It must be quite exciting being here at the Geneva Motorshow.
You know, the Geneva Motorshow is kind of like the Super Bowl of hypercars, and I thought, many years ago, if we had a special car to unveil, this would be the place to do it.
Well, it looks amazing. The car is here. Tell us about it. Tell us a bit more. What are we looking at?
You know, so Hennessey Venom F5, people maybe read about on the internet over the last few months, but it's so cool to be here at Geneva because this is the one place where you can look at our car and then look at it in context. How does this car measure up to the other world's greatest cars? Just down the aisle, you've got Bugatti with the Chiron and maybe a special variation that they may show up tomorrow. Christian von Koenigsegg, saw him and his wife earlier today. Yeah. Mate Rimac with his cool stuff. Pagani just down the aisle. So I feel very honored to be here for the first time and to be representing an American company with an American hypercar brand. And I was telling my wife earlier as we were walking around, I thought, you know what? I think outside of Ford, we're the only other American company that's here at the show. Maybe there's a few others, somebody I'm not thinking about, but FCA is Fiat Chrysler. Yeah. It's very cool to be here with the F5 and love to share as many details with you and your followers as I can today.
For sure. Well, obviously this is the first time I've seen your car. You presented it at the SEMA show.
Right.
Quite a different show itself, but I tell you, my first observation or instinct is it's quite a diminutive package. It's quite neatly wrapped around. Yeah,
I mean, basically, when we built the Venom many years ago, that was kind of our first putting our toe into the water of building a hypercar. And that car we started with the Lotus Exige, the Lotus Elise chassis, and we had some success with the car. We sold cars and broke 270, set a Guinness World Record, but again, it wasn't our own car. And so we felt like when the Venom F5, our next car that we were going to build, we wanted to build from the ground up its own unique car. But at the same time, we wanted to take the great things about the Venom GT, and that included the footprint. So dimensionally, front to back, the width, the track are very similar to what the Venom GT was. And so we took that goodness and built our car around that footprint. And so the package that you see in terms of the length, the width, and the track of the car, again, we evolved from that starting point.
Okay, so tell me from the basics, what do we have back here? What's powering this?
Well, I'll give you a scoop. Yeah. So my guys were like, boss, you need to share a little bit more information with the people at Geneva. And I thought, okay. I really wanted to wait and save the engine details for Pebble Beach, and we will save the nitty-gritty details for Pebble Beach. But this is going to be powered by an 8-liter V8 with at least 2 turbos.
Okay.
And that's it'll be at least 1,600 horsepower.
1,600 horsepower.
Right. And mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, and with all the goodness of traction control. That this car without traction control will probably spin the tires at 150 miles an hour. So it'll need traction control.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's got Michelin's on it. That's what we'll run for when we get into our high-speed testing. And I think, there's a lot that we could talk about the car, but I think, again, not being able to give out a ton of details about the engine other than it's making a lot of power. the big news about the car to me is the aerodynamics of the car. So the Venom GT, when that car ran 270, it had a coefficient of drag of 0.44.
Yeah.
This car is a 0.33.
That's quite significant.
So it's basically like adding 25% more power to the car.
Yeah.
So I think that's the important news. It's also going to be under 3,000 pounds of weight.
Okay.
So the power to weight ratio is, really, I'm not going to say it's the best and the highest, because who knows, somebody will pull a rabbit out of their hat tomorrow. Maybe they'll challenge that, but it's arguably one of the best in the market.
So talking a little bit about the aerodynamic side, and maybe we just start right around the front.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, very slippery through the air, intakes for cooling.
Yeah.
And I can see some interesting pieces just sort of right here in front of the wheel arch, for example, the way you're cutting and shaping the air through.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, you've obviously got the splitter, which is designed for very low drag. You've got the air that channels through the center, the nose of the car, and the intercooler is just right there where the ductwork is, just in front of the cowl. And so that air channels right through there. The intercooler's it's a pretty good sized piece to keep that charger cool going into the big motor in the back. And then you've got the separate ducts right here for the radiators. And then you've got a little winglet on the end there that basically improves airflow around the wheel and tire. Then you've got your the mirrors.
I was literally about to point out this.
We went through 20 different iterations of the mirror design, and the mirrors basically, this is the lowest drag configuration that we could come up with.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on the ductwork on this particular side, this goes to the transmission and differential cooler. On the other side is the oil cooler for the motor.
Okay.
The inlet air duct here for the NACA duct for the air going to the engine, going to the air filter and then the turbos. And then out the back side, you've got the ventilation coming out of the engine compartment from the rear hatch. And then you've got as much open space here to evacuate engine temperature while you're going down the road. And then the diffuser design, we went through a lot of different designs in our CFD calculations. This was the best setup that we could come up with for the lowest amount of drag.
Okay.
We could create more downforce if we wanted to. We could have a high downforce package, and that's something that we may look at doing down the road. But as far as for our clients that want a very comfortable road car with a potential 300 mile per hour capability, this was the lowest drag package that we could come up with.
I mean, that's a very interesting balance you have to work out, because at the end of the day, potentially a 300 mile an hour top speed is a very serious new territory in game.
Sure.
But I mean, looking at it, it's quite complex in terms of the fins and parts, but something that I particularly like actually is the rear lights, just looking at them here.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, again, when I work with the design team, I said, hey, look, the bottom line for the look of this car, the look is irrelevant. It's all about ultimate performance, ultimate top speed. But I said at the same time, I really don't want anybody saying, hey, the car looks like this, hey, the car looks like that. Yeah. And it's hard to do. It's in this day and age, I mean, there's only so many different ways that you can design a car, especially if it has ultra performance in mind. So, yeah, just the little details, the tail lights, the mirrors, the way that you have the contrasting bars that kind of go over the shape of the window, the A-pillar, the roof line. I think the design team did a really nice job on the car.
Another interesting aspect that you notice from back here is how high and I guess obvious the point over the top of the front arches is.
Yeah.
Must give you, I imagine, a sensation when you're sitting inside. Great visibility to where the front end of the car is.
Absolutely.
And then complete opposite end of the car, the way the wing sculpts through the lower element of the rear deck, which I suppose is again aerodynamics.
Right. Yeah, I mean the wing will be dynamic, so it will go up and down.
Okay.
Then you've got air that channels through here. That comes off the back. So a lot of little.
I hadn't spotted that
details.
before. So you literally have an opening through the back of the car.
Yeah, and this particular change, when we're doing the CFD, this made a pretty significant change.
Okay.
And if I could show you the bottom of the car, I can send you some of our CFD files. Basically, it's a completely smooth underbelly. It's seamless, all carbon fiber from the front to back. It's got one entire belly pan to it.
Is the entire car to be carbon fiber bodied?
Correct. Everything's carbon fiber.
I mean, chasing the weight savings, of course, must be
Yeah.
quite difficult because you've got to
Absolutely.
you've got to look at every material, every aspect.
Correct.
Chasing down to the little nuts
I
and
mean,
bolts.
power to weight ratio is very important to us. I mean, that, you know, keeping the car under 3,000 pounds. You know, I think that what the guys are doing with the electric cars are pretty incredible, and they're super fast, but they're heavy, and I don't think they handle or have the same braking dynamic of a car that's much lighter. So,
What's the thinking gearbox-wise?
it's a 7-speed single clutch transmission that can run in automatic mode, or you can manually shift it.
No doubt that will have quite a lot of feel to it.
Yeah,
on driving as well. It'll be quite a kick.
Yeah, we're going to offer a 6-speed manual as an option. So I'm still an old school guy. I like to drive a manual.
Yeah.
I mean, the paddle shift will be faster and probably easier for a lot of people to drive. But if somebody's old school and they want to paddle shift it, I mean, want to shift it manually, they can opt for that. Separate transmission.
Sure, and that's half the fun
Carbon
of it.
ceramic brakes all the way around, Brembos, Michelin tires.
You need some serious stopping power when you're
Right.
up at that sort of. So,
Yeah.
so when are you thinking in terms of what happens next? How does
So
this
what's
project
next
evolve?
is we're deep into the engineering of the tub and the powertrain. We'll have our first prototype running and driving later this year. We will begin delivering cars to clients towards the second half of 2019. And people ask us all the time, when are you going 300 miles an hour? Well, let's wait and see what the Bugatti guys do.
Yeah.
Obviously, Koenigsegg set a really big number last year. I think the Bugatti guys will challenge that probably this coming summer. And then once the dust settles between those two guys, we'll be out testing our car. But we would like to go 300 miles an hour with the car sometime in the next 12 to 18 months. So we'll see.
It's a very serious game up at that end.
It's a very serious game, but I mean, the guys that buy these cars, the bragging rights are very important. You know, and that's important to us. Our company, we've been in business for almost 28 years, and we feel it's very important for our cars' performance to do the talking. And if our client chooses to, you know, tap into that highest degree of performance, great. If they want to brag about it to their mates, that's fine too.
Wonderful. Well, it looks absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for your time there. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing the car.
Yeah, Geneva Motorshow. This is really, again, it's the World Cup of automotive and hypercars, and it's an honor to be here.
Well, congratulations for making it. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one too. Venom F5. See you again very soon. So thanks as always. Catch you later. Cheers.